Hello! Over the course of today I've made Venison Wellington, which I'm serving with a shallot puree, fondant potatoes, baby carrots, wilted spinach, and with a venison sauce. You might just want to skip ahead and see a picture of the final dish, but if you'd like to see how I made it, I've created some videos that show you some of the steps that got me there. You'll be delighted to know that the glass of wine is only now, and I didn't have that during the course of today, so I'm fairly competent in those videos. But either way, whether you watch the videos or just look at the final plate, I hope you enjoy it as much as I have cooking the dish and eating it. The first two things I need to do are make the mushroom duxelle and to make the shallot puree. For the shallot puree, cut up some shallots, cook them off in butter, blend it with some cream. I can leave that then and reheat it later on. The mushroom duxelle requires lots of little chestnut mushrooms to be cut up fine. You can use a Magimix if you want. Cook down with some butter, again a little bit of cream, and then left to go completely cold before you wrap the venison in it. So I'm going to cook that, put it in the fridge, and then forget about it for a while. Of course, to do this I need to cut lots of mushrooms up. No one wants to watch that, so I'll carry on and I'll see you a bit later on. The mushrooms are cooking away. They were cooked till they were golden brown. And now I'm adding a bit of sherry in there, and that will cook down until about half the sherry has gone. And then I'll put a few teaspoons of cream in, that'll bring it together and really help it set, and I'll put it in the fridge. At the same time, the shallots have been cooking under a cartouche so that they cook softly. I don't want to get any colour on those, I just want them to cook down in some butter, and then they'll get blended with some cream. The next step is to colour the venison. In an ideal world I'd have bought one venison loin, but none of the butchers near me had any venison loins, so I had to go to Waitrose and buy two in a packet and put them together. What I'm going to do is cook them off separately, but all I want to do is colour them. So in a really hot pan, I'm going to put a little bit of rapeseed oil and I'm going to let them colour one at a time for probably about a minute and a half on each side at the very most, because I want the meat to stay really pink, and remember it's got to go in the oven and be cooked in pastry. If it comes out pink, great. At the end of this you'll see a video where I have a perfect bit of Venison Wellington. If it doesn't come out pink, I may have to replace that last video with me dancing, and certainly no one wants that. Right, here comes the tricky bit. I now need to roll the venison in a square of Iberico ham that I've created with the cold mushroom duxelle, and I've got some wilted spinach on there as well. What I want to do is roll this up really tight in cling film so that it holds its shape in the fridge for a few hours before I cook it. The more observant amongst you will notice that I have a plaster. I've got a little panda to help me, having cut my finger while slicing the Iberico ham. It's an occupational hazard and happens from time to time. So I'm going to roll this bit now. If you get to see it, it means that it's worked well and I haven't sworn. If you don't, that's why. Welcome back. I did have to move it around a little bit, but it's now in a nice sausage shape, so you'll see I've got a nice sausage there that has the ham on the outside, then the mushrooms, then the spinach, and then the venison sitting inside. So I'm going to put this in the fridge, let it set up probably for a good 2-3 hours. You can do this overnight if you want, and you'll then have a really well set piece of venison. The venison's come out of the fridge, it's ready to go into the puff pastry. This is shop bought puff pastry. I'm not someone who shies away from doing crazy things in the kitchen. I once made beef bourguignon that took a week, and my fried chicken can take a couple of days, but the good people at Just Roll make wonderful puff pastry that you can buy and use immediately. So that's what I've done. I've got a square, or rectangle rather, of puff pastry which I've egg washed, just egg yolks, around the border of it. I've put the piece of venison that's wrapped in the mushrooms, ham and spinach on the puff pastry. I'm just going to roll it up now and just get that into a nice roll. Hopefully the paper will come away with ease. It's not, because of course I've left the pastry out for far too long. Right, we're almost there. The Venison Wellington's ready to go into the oven, and I'm going to cook the veg at the same time while it's in the oven. It needs about 20 minutes and then probably about 10 minutes to rest. So I'm going to put this in now. And and set the timer for 20 minutes. I'm doing my best Keith Floyd. I've got a glass with me. Chin chin, enjoy. I'm going to make some fondant potatoes. So I've got some potatoes that I've cut up into small pieces. They're going into some butter so they can colour up. I've dropped that one already, there we go. They'll go in some butter, they'll colour up in there, and then I'll add some stock, turn them over, and then let them cook in the stock. I've got some baby carrots that I'm going to cook quite simply. I'm going to blanch some spinach, and I've also got the shallot puree that I made much earlier on today, which I'll heat up and plate up. So you'll see me again when the venison Wellington comes out of the oven and it's rested and we're ready to plate up. Here's the plated up venison Wellington. Underneath the Wellington is the shallot puree, and on the side the fondant potatoes, wilted spinach and baby carrots. I've then got some venison sauce, so I'm just going to pour around the side, over the vegetables, through here, and a little bit on the meat.